Hi folks, it's been a little while since I've done just an update video, I guess. I've been back in New Zealand now for over a month, and yeah, I thought I'd just check in and let you know what I'm up to, because every time anyone asks me what I'm up to at the moment, I sort of go, it all sort of falls under the umbrella of freelance design, but at the same time, it's so much more than that. And I had to make a list of all the things that I have going on at the moment because I couldn't keep them all in my head. And these are just sort of big, well, I guess smaller umbrellas than the big umbrella of freelance design. But yeah, lots going on. So I thought I'd just share with you what's going on in my life at the moment, and yeah, how this whole freelancing malarkey is going on. One of the main things that's happening at the moment is Inktober. The drawing that you're watching right now is from day one. I should have a few more than that up on Instagram by now, so yeah, do check that out if you're interested in more of my designs. That's at Holly Dunn Design on Instagram. And yeah, so Inktober, obviously very exciting, quite a big undertaking, especially when you're doing lots of other things at the same time. But yeah, it's a drawing every day in October in ink. And yeah, my theme for this year is Ex Libris, which is, so I'm doing book plates, basically. The kinds of plates that you'd either stick or stamp inside the front of your books that says, this book belongs to, or property of, or Ex Libris, whoever. And the whoever's in this case are book characters. And so here we've got Bilbo Baggins. For day 2 I did Mrs. Coulter from His Dark Materials, and then I've done Marjorie Tyrell. I've got a huge list of different ideas, so I don't think I'm going to run out of ideas. But yeah, if you'd like to give me more suggestions, feel free to do that in the comments down below. Then I've got my designs from the previous month-long challenge that I did, which was the Harry Potter book designs. And I've made those into postcards and prints, which are now available on my shop, which is a part of my website. This is very exciting, and I sold out of the first lot of postcards really quickly. So thank you so much to all of you who ordered them, because that's, it's a huge help to me financially. It's not a massive amount of money, but it's nice to be able to cover my costs of the printing. And yeah, it just means so much to know that people like my designs enough to want to either have them on their walls. If you've bought them, please do tweet at me or Instagram message me or something when you receive them, because I love seeing that. It's so lovely. So yeah, that's all been very exciting, very busy. It's an awful lot of work running an online shop, my goodness. And especially as I had more orders than I was anticipating in the first sort of 24 hours. And so I spent a whole day just going through and addressing labels and packaging up the prints, making sure that they weren't going to get all squashed or crumpled or anything in the post. It's always a bit of a risk when you're sending things snail mail. But yeah, it's been really cool. So there's that. Obviously I've been doing the YouTube stuff, and that sort of ties into Inktober at the moment. I'm wanting to do a few more videos which are just me chatting whilst also I'm drawing, because those are the kinds of things that I love watching on YouTube. I often have one of these chatty videos on while I'm drawing myself, and it's nice. It sort of feels like you're drawing along with a buddy. It's nice. So if you're not already doing so and you're doing Inktober, go and grab a pen and some paper and get scribbling. it's yeah, a good thing to do. So what have we gone through? Inktober online shop. So obviously that got the postcards, but beyond that I'm looking at doing Christmas cards, and I've actually got a whole set of Christmas card designs done now, and I'm getting those printed this week and looking at selling those on my online shop as well as locally. They're all book themed, so they're kind of Christmassy books or Christmassy designs made to look like old books. It's been really fun designing them. I've had a blast. So I think it sort of fits in quite nicely with my whole design aesthetic online, and yeah, I'm hoping that some local bookshops are keen. I've already had some interest, so that should be good. They will be going up on my site hopefully in the next couple of weeks, because, you know, Christmas is it's sort of scarily close already. It's yeah, I don't know where 2017 has gone, but it really has flown by. I am doing a couple of courses at the moment, which has been very cool. One is a hand lettering course, a sort of more advanced hand lettering course, which was quite an expensive thing to buy, but it allows you access to a group chat, and the sort of you're doing critiques on other people's work and getting feedback on your own work. It's really good. So the course is by John Contino, and I will link it in the description because I think he's doing another one before too long. And yeah, it's just been a really cool thing to do, partly because it's something that I'm interested in doing myself, is running a course, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. So the other course that I'm taking at the moment is a local screen printing course, which is super cool. It is a really magical process. If you haven't done screen printing before, I would really recommend taking a class, or even just looking at some YouTube videos, because it's just mind-boggling. It's a photographic process that we're using in order to get our designs onto the screens so that you can print them. Yeah, very, very cool. I won't do it justice if I try to explain it. But what I'm wanting to do with those is turn some of the Harry Potter textbook covers into actual covers. So I was looking at options for bookbinding them myself, but I come to the conclusion that that's A, a bit complicated, and B, a bit pricey in terms of shipping. So, because shipping from New Zealand is horrendously expensive. But what I'm looking at is making covers for the books. So an A5 size cover that you can slip over a notebook, either a moleskin or whatever brand or non-brand you go for. They do tend to be about the same size in terms of spine width and all of that, so it would be easy to find a generic notebook to then cover with this. And the beauty of that is then that once you finish that notebook or sketchbook, you can go on and you can get a new one and cover it if you're not sick of the sight of it by then. So it's not just a one-off use. So yeah, looking at doing that. I've also had some fabric arrive, which is like a patchwork of lots of different of the Harry Potter designs. So I am planning on making those into tote bags and then potentially cushion covers. I had somebody contact me on Instagram about cushion covers. They were quite keen to either make some from the fabric themselves or to be able to buy them. So that's something I'm looking at too. Also looking at some different options for tote bags with different sorts of designs, or yeah, I'm still waiting on some fabric to arrive. But so those are the two courses that I'm doing at the moment. The other course that I was talking about is one that I'm actually going to be running, and this is hopefully, if I get enough sign-ups, it's a local one, and it's going to be an introduction to hand lettering, which I'm super excited about. So yeah, hopefully I get enough people signing up to do it. And yeah, I'm thinking sort of minimum 5 people, maximum 10. The idea with this is that going forward, I would like to do my own online course, and some sort of introduction to hand lettering and typography, more specifically to do with type and image, and integrating illustration or existing images with your typography, because that's something that I'm doing on a daily basis, and it's something I'm really passionate about. So yeah, that's a sort of in the longer term, but I want to test it out on a group of people to start with, and do an actual course with people in real life, so that I can get that feedback as well and see what people want as well. So if you have any ideas of what you would like to see, or if you'd be interested in an online course like that, then do let me know in the comments below. Obviously, the YouTube channel is still happening. I'm trying to do 2 videos a week, tentatively saying that is what I'm doing, and I have been doing it the past few weeks. The YouTube doesn't bring in a lot of revenue for me, but it's brought in so many different wonderful opportunities. For instance, just a couple of weeks ago, I did a video for Pan Macmillan talking about their new paperback series, which was super cool. That's over on the Book Break channel, which I'll link below. And I mean, all the wonderful people that I met when I went over to the UK, it's just been fantastic. And having then met those people in real life, you know, that connection that you have and being able to keep in touch with them is much easier over the distance of oceans. So yeah, I mean, that's one of the difficulties of being back in New Zealand, is that challenge of being so far away from your friends. But it's, I think I've definitely made the right decision, because I've been able to get so much more work done, so much more of sort of self-promotion, and I've launched an online shop, and yeah, it's just been wonderful. And I'll talk a bit about a few of the other projects I've got going on at the moment. But yeah, so at the moment I'm staying with my parents, and I'm not quite sure how long I will be here, possibly for quite a while. But I'm very, very lucky in that, well, for one thing, I get along very well with my parents. They are just the most wonderful people, and I'm ridiculously lucky to get along with them so well, and to have them be so supportive as well. Yeah, I really don't know what I would do without their support, because, you know, I think a lot of people, if you said, oh yeah, I'm gonna quit my job and be a book designer, and, you know, kind of make this up as they go along a bit. But yeah, they have just been very supportive and believing in me, and yeah, they really are the best. So that has meant that I'm able to stay here, at least for the time being, rent-free, which means that I am actually able to put any money that I earn back into the business, back into printing more stuff, just back into, yeah, more self-promotion stuff and all of that. So that has been a huge advantage. Obviously, the disadvantage is living at home again, which is not something that I thought I would be doing, but I think the trade-off is, you know, the trade-off is basically my pride of having moved back in with my parents, versus starting a business and actually getting some freelance work and making money off of what I love doing. So yeah, it's definitely been worth it. And my longer term plan is to build a studio that I can work from, and even longer term is to build a tiny house. If you haven't seen tiny houses, Google it, because I'm completely obsessed with the idea of tiny houses. And so a tiny house and a studio to work in would be my ideal living situation. Probably not far from where I am geographically anyway. I do love it over here, and I like being closer to my parents, particularly, you know, when things like the conflict between North Korea and the States is happening. You sort of think, if you're on the other side of the world, if nuclear war did happen, and I mean, I don't think that that's a very likely scenario, but if it did happen, it would mean that I was stranded on the opposite side of the world from my family with no way of getting back. So there was a little bit of paranoia as well that was involved in my decision to come back, as well as a huge student loan that was only getting bigger with the interest when I was overseas. But anyway, so I've moved back in with my parents, which is actually fine. It's been great. And, you know, I'm doing some cooking, I'm doing a lot of the cleaning, things like that, and I will start paying rent as soon as I start making enough money to be able to do that. But in terms of how I'm making money at the moment, obviously there's the online shop, and there's a tiny bit of money coming in through YouTube, but that is not enough to live off of, even if you don't have to pay rent. So I have got a couple of days of freelance work at a local print shop. They specialise in printing books, and also they do all sorts of other stuff. They're printing my Christmas cards as well. It's rather cool. I'm doing mostly marketing and social media for them, managing their Facebook page, doing their newsletter mail outs to bookshops that they work with and different clients and authors, and also doing some of their print materials, which involves a bit of design, which is rather nice. It's not exactly what I want to be doing in the longer term, but for now it's really good. They're a great bunch of people. Yeah, it's working out very well, and it's a steady paycheck. It's not a huge paycheck because it's only a couple of days a week, but it is something that I can rely on coming through regularly, which is a huge relief. But on the other hand, I also have another client project at the moment, which I can't really talk about, but when I can, I will. But basically, it's my first project within New Zealand, Australia, in terms of book design, which happened quite quickly, and I'm very excited about it. So when I can share more about that, I will. But yeah, nice to do something that's a bit more locally based as well. Yeah, so hopefully more of that kind of thing will happen. Yeah, apart from that, I'm also doing a podcast, which again, I don't know actually if I can talk about this or not, so I'm not gonna give away the game. But needless to say, it's another thing that has been very exciting, and it's meant that I've been able to talk to some very cool, very experienced, a real range of very interesting people. That's all I'm going to say about that at the moment, but when I can say more, I will. Because I think if you like this channel, then you will like what's happening with the podcast. Anyway, that's sort of what I have been up to. I feel like I've missed something. I'm sure I've missed something. But anyway, that's most of what I'm up to at the moment. It's all been very, very busy. I've been putting in very long days, working weekends, working evenings, and unfortunately a lot of that isn't actually doing the drawing, doing the stuff that I love doing. A lot of it is sorting out the finances and doing the admin on the shop and things like that. But it definitely feels like it's worth it, because I'm at the point where I am actually making some money off of my art stuff and my design stuff. So yeah, I really can't complain. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this. If you want to see more of my Inktober, head on over to Instagram at HollyDunnDesign. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!